Every voyage begins with a plan. A vision etched on parchment, foretelling glory or downfall. It is in our nature to conquer what others fear. Death and dishonor, fame and fortune. The life of a sea captain is one of duty and relentless pursuit. True riches are not in gold and jewels, but in the stories we bring back and the legend we become. But never at our final destination. So we chart our next course. We sail. We fight. We endure. For the voyage is life. And life is the voyage.
Well, I haven't covered a Kickstarter in a while, and this one is very exciting, one I've backed, and I found interest in, and you may find interest in it as well. Whether you back or not, no big deal. It's a game that's coming out in its earliest form in 2026, so I want to start with that before any hype building or anything else like that. A few months from now, this game will have hopefully, its earliest test phases, and backers will be testing out interesting basic game modes of this as they get more complex over time. I'm going to get into the Kickstarter goals and such and how that impacts gameplay in a little bit. But I also wanted to lead with a second point, that this is not pay to win. It is pay to cosmetic, so it's pay to flash, but it is not pay to win. Now, there are some interesting things with the backing, like decorative swords and interesting medals and other things like that. But importantly, nothing is going to sell you a ship in this game. You're not going to sell weapons and braces of pistols that are more than just a skin for people who back. And that is an interesting thing, because in other projects, we've had people that have pushed back on that, or at the very least said, I wanted that limited anyway. And this project has succeeded. As of recording, over 500,000 pounds, it's something like close to 700,000 USD, has backed this project that originally was requesting only a fifth of that. And it has been slowly but surely adding to their development roadmap as they've been getting more and more people. Just for clarification, 523,000 pounds, 715,000 USD that translates into as of recording. And I guess that's as good a time as any to reach into stretch goals. Realistically, the scope of a game tends to be a telling point to people who are interested in the gameplay or interested in just playing, whether the game's ever going to come out, right? So one of the first things that they are putting together is a thing called Sea Trials and Setting Sail, where it's basic racing. And additionally, there's other systems that are meant to be arena-style gameplay for players to compete. As you can see on the screen here, there's 5 different nations you can join, and they are meant to be a serious choice for players, although you're maybe somewhere else, who knows. And that includes Britain, Spain, France, Dutch, and the US, a young fledgling United States. But there is a 6th option. For those of you who are wondering if this is going to be like, I used to play Assassin's Creed's Black Flag back in the day, and I'd like to see something like that in multiplayer online on a PC game. By the way, yes, that is just a PC game. You have an option. It's called the Independent Peoples. So you will have severely restricted locations that you can call home as your ports. However, you absolutely can play as a pirate, and all other 5 nations, the 5 real solidified nations, are allowed to attack you with no, you shot first, it's not fair, etc. If you're a pirate, you can attack them and they can rightly attack you. There are a couple ports that are famous, like Jamaica and such, all the locations around there, but in general the map is focusing on the Indies as well as the southern United States. Back to the early fledgling United States. United States was a little different back in these days. So for those of you who are excited about this, you have to keep in mind that this is based in 1780, and really it's a soft 1780. The vessels that are going to be in the game that you can see up there are between 1770 and 1785, the goal of which was to allow certain technology, interesting ships, uniform styles and such, and cannon systems and artillery based in forts as well, to have these interesting styles and upgrades, features, and other things that you can enjoy. So you're not locked into one specific date, but it is a era, so to speak, a minor era. Now, there has been a push for, some people have been talking about some other dates in the 1800s for already an Ahoy 2, etc., that would allow it to be more Euro-focused. I don't know if that'll ever get done. I think that there's a magical period of these different these different countries vying for power and attempting to emphasize their capabilities across the Indies and into the rest of the New World, on top of pirates getting to enjoy their fun too. And for those who don't know, by this point pirates are a little subdued. There's less ports of call that they can run to. But at the same time, there is a couple that are left, and they're serious ports. The way the game seems to be doing the ports is that you will be able to have like a social aspect with taverns in those ports. No brothels, by the way. But taverns in those ports, trade in those locations, and additionally some other features like that. Additionally, there will be a fort siege mode that is going to have land-based combat and siege mechanics, which is highly likely to be based around these islands that these ports are a part of, and that will have impacts on the game world, as I understand it. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm getting a little it's going to be probably like this and not like this, probably like that. And that's because while the developers are extremely responsive on their Discord and also on their website, on their facts section on ahoy.gg, their website for the game, Capstone Games is still in heavy development for this brand new project, and the stretch goals alone from the project are still ongoing, the first batch being wrapped up pretty much by the time I'm publishing this video. However, you can still go and take part in this, and it seems that the stretch goals will continue. For example, we just unlocked Fort Siege mode yesterday, Saturday, July 5, July 5th. And there are additional original stretch goals that are still ongoing that include the social modes in Port Royal and Jamaica, and new maps like Chaos Cachinas, which would be a multi-mode arena map. So we don't even know if that's going to be part of the games yet. So Ahoy's roadmap from their official video is showing that they are planning to do their closed alpha sea trials in 2026, starting 2026 first quarter, and then that is going to lead into a more exciting mode, in my opinion, where more backers can get involved, and that would be your arena, and it's a public release. Notice the huge gap. Q1 2026 to Q4 2026. However, never fear, the open world future vision is at some point in the future. The sea trials in general are going to be for the supporters that had higher level pledges, not the £5 pledges, more to the 60, 70, 80 USD pledges get that access to the closed alpha. The arena mode in Q4, I believe 2026, should be brought forward a little bit, because to me that would mean a lot more to a lot of backers that are in the lower categories, especially pledging all the way back here at the beginning and enjoying it. I do want to note on their pledge system for their Kickstarter, they did have a able seaman pledge, which was like £5, which I mentioned a moment ago without using the title. And what I liked about that was it allowed people to leave the door open to pledge to a higher amount later. So I think they'll have another burst of funding in Q1 2026 for folks that want to get into that closed alpha, which is the sea trials, basic launching of ships. I am guessing some forms of combat, but very basic, and testing out ship gameplay. Why is that important? Because this is a lot different than a lot of other games that are in this field. You're talking about a first-person only game, and if you're running a ship, you're going to have to command an entire crew of people operating in here. And if you're, say, trying to roll around with a group of friends, they will have to spend time learning the game. Fortunately, another nice touch in their Kickstarter campaign is that they've had people that once you get above the certain levels, so 50, 60, 70 USD folks, they get multiple game licenses to share with friends, and the higher up you go, the more you get, and it can go to extravagant amounts. Like the same kind of money we're talking for like Capital and Star Citizen, if you want to be an NPC, for example, as an extreme example. But it seems like the sweet spot in this type of project is that trying to lock people into a full price of a AAA game for multiple game modes, but also including a bevy of licenses to share with your friends, so they can jump in there as well. Note the able seaman at the beginning, it's very, very reasonable. And then they're trying to push people towards, really it's now the second lieutenant, not the one highlighted, but the one to the right of it, that includes a extra game keys for your friends, and that's the one that's actually available, because the other ones went away as a fear of missing out thing. I'm going to say the good and the bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. So overall, I like the project. I think it's got a lot of promise. I think that if they do it the right way and they continue on with these cosmetics and keep the communication up with the community, I think they're going to really go places. I don't know if they're ever going to get their 1800s era European Battle of Trafalgar type gameplay that the rumors are about, but the Caribbean in 1780s is a winner. And I think a lot of folks, especially your Euro gamers and your US gamers from the Americas, they're all going to have a ball in this. And don't forget, you still have your quote independent peoples end quote. So you have your gray and black-hatted pirates of yonder, always out there nipping at the heels of all these groups. And giving them something to go for, both player and NPC. Exciting games, great gameplay formats. I like there's multiple formats for multiple types. I've covered that it's not a console-based game, it's PC only. I've covered that it is a Kickstarter. I do not believe there's any risk that there won't be a game. I think it's more of a risk of, is the game for you? And I can't answer that question because there isn't even a demo out yet. Rest assured, Q1 2026, I will be in that closed alpha, checking it out, and whatever I can provide video-wise, if I'm allowed to, I will provide. If I cannot, I will give my perspectives on it. And also, if there's any major developments between then and now, I will cover them. So thank you to my long-term subscribers for putting up with me. I hope you appreciate this video as much as I enjoyed making it. A little different, I know, but it is what it is. And if you have not already, please consider subscribing. And yeah, thanks for being here.